and I will be your trainer this afternoon. Let me quickly share my screen and then we can start the training. Tara, I think you have to give me the sharing rights, screen share rights.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I will actually, let me minimize this. And I wanted to move this, but how to do that? Sorry. Do you know how can I move this toolbar?
I think you have to figure out which screen. Do you have multiple monitors?
Not right now, but let me check. It should have a hide option.
Yeah, you should be able to right click and unlock the taskbar.
Yeah. Oh, it will go up itself, I think. All right. All right, so you can now start the recording if you want.
Got it.
All right, hello everyone. Today I will go over this vendor training where I will provide you an overview of the SORTA new system. This is called the Diversity and Inclusion Contract Compliance Portal. You can access this link using this URL, sorta.prismcompliance.com. And just to provide you a quick overview of what is included in this link on this portal. So first of all, if you look at the header of this page, there is a link that if you click on this link, this will take you to the SORTA main website. There is a need help link. So if you click on need help, this will take you to the portal's knowledge base. So this knowledge base is for you to go over several different topics and get help yourself. So this is kind of a self-help tool, and there are some knowledge topics that are published here. So you can browse through those and read about that. Um, the other section, this is the second section after the header, is where you can enter your user ID and password once you establish that initially, and then click on login to log into the system. But in order to create this user ID and password, you will receive an email letter in email from SORTA, from the system, where there will be instructions on how to create your one-time user ID and password for this portal. And there will be a secure PIN that will be shared in the same letter. So you need that, you need your tax ID, your EIN, and that PIN to create your user ID and password for this portal. So when you receive that letter, you will go over the instructions and create your user ID and password. But what I will provide you a quick overview of what is included in the letter. So you will go here. This is just a one-time step or one-time setup where you can go and create your user ID and password. So you will click here.
Sana,
Sorry.
I don't think any of us see the same screen that you see. I don't know about everybody else, but it looks like
Mhm.
WebEx.
Okay.
It's the WebEx screen, like from
Oh,
the
so let
website.
me share again, okay?
Okay,
And let me know when you see it, all right? I want you to see everything.
perfect.
All right.
That's what we were
Is
looking
it
for.
visible?
Yes,
So now you are able to see userregistration.prismcompliance.com.
yes,
Okay. So let me go back actually if you were not able to look at it. So let me repeat that. So when you receive that letter will have instructions on how to create user ID and password. So and the instructions will include where to go, how to enter information, what information is required. But just to give you a quick overview, I will show you here. So first time you will go to sorta.prismcompliance.com and you will go to this section, don't have a username, right? So you will click here and you will on this web page, this is just one times user ID and password setup. So you will go to register now, and here in this section you will enter the tax ID that you have for your company and the PIN that will be shared in that instructions letter. So you will have your secure PIN in that letter. If by any chance you forget or you misplace that letter or you need the PIN, you can always reach out to your jurisdiction, that is SORTA, and they can email you the PIN once again. All right. In order to get this PIN, obviously you need to contact the jurisdiction or just access the letter that is sent to you. You will enter that PIN and then just this security symbol, you will enter that and click on next. I will not go over this process because there is already a training video published on the main page. You can go over that training video. On the next page, you will simply validate your email address. That will send you a validation code on your email. Um, so any information that you enter during this process should match with what is registered already for your vendor profile in the system. If it doesn't match, you will receive an error. And if you receive an error during this process, again, you will have to reach out to your jurisdiction to SORTA and ask for help. All right. And always those, if you receive an error, the screenshots or any steps that you're taking will help them to figure out what is going on and how they can help. So that's how you will create your initial user ID and password. And once that is done, you can use this username and password field and then log into the system. A little bit more about this page. You can see there are four sections. The first one is news and events. So if you want to access SORTA's news and events, you can click on Let's Go, and it will take you to the news and events page. Same for opportunities. So if you want to look at any upcoming opportunities, you can click on Let's Go, and that will take to that relevant page. And then there are some important links for you here. So if you click on these will take you to the relevant pages. This section, need training, is the one that I was referring about the initial login setup instructions and how to manage your vendor profile. So if you will click on this button under need training, um, I would recommend for all of the SORTA vendors to go and visit this and go over this video. So this is a small video training that will tell you how to create your user ID and password, how to troubleshoot your user ID and password if you forget your password or if you forget your user ID. So this training video is very helpful and I would recommend all of you to go over that. This is a pre-recorded training video. All right. Now, next, what I want to do is I will log in to the stage instance. I will not, this is the production instance. I will not go to the production instance because we cannot use that for training purpose. But I will use a stage instance that looks similar to this one. There is no difference in both of the instances. And I will first log in as a subcontractor, um, and show you some of the features like how to manage your profile, how you can change your password when after you log in, and how can you add more users. So whether you are a subcontractor or you are a prime contractor, you will have access to those features. So let me quickly go there. All right. So first time when you will log into the system, this is how your screen will look like. So you see that on top of the screen, there's a log off option. You will see your first and last name here. Um, and this is the main system account user, the user that is associated with the vendor main account. You have the administration section, compliance section. You can access opportunities here. So any opportunities that are published by SORTA for you to view, those will be listed here. So you can always access those here in this section. You can see there are several different columns. So each opportunity will be a row here in the grid, and you can look at the details of those in this section. Now, in order to look at your user profile and your vendor profile in the system, and to manage that, you will go to administration. That is kind of the main setup of your user and vendor profile. So first of all, you will go to administration. You will go to manage users profile if you want to look at your user ID and password. So here you will see that there is a default vendor user account. All right. This is the system owner for your vendor account. And this person, whoever is associated with this account, can always add new users for the organization. And those users can then come back here instead of the main account holder and complete the compliance portion as well. So if you have multiple users and if you want to assign these rights to those users, you can always come here and add new users. Um, so if you just have one user, if you are the only one, then obviously you will come here and you can always edit user, and from within the system, you can change your user ID and your password, not the user ID. And you can change your email address just in case you want to change it, and you will click on save. So that's how you can manage your user profile. Um, your vendor profile is where all the information about your company is registered. So you can always come to the vendor profile. Here, the information is segregated in multiple tabs. So the main is the main profile where the basic information about your company is listed. And then, so on this page, on the profile tab, you will see your VIN number, your name, company. If there is a doing business as, you will see that here. Business structure, ethnicity, gender, if those are registered in the system. So any information that is available in the system, you will be able to view that here. What you can modify is your phone number. Um, you can also modify your contact information one, name, phone, cell phone, and email, and your contact information two, you can enter that here. So this contact information one is used for all communication that goes out of the system to your company. So this should be the person who actually works in the system. This person will receive all the emails. Um, and then you will click on update profile. So that's how you can manage your profile information. The next one is address tab. Here you will see what address is registered in the system. If you see that this address is not right or you want to modify it, you will reach out to your to SORTA and you can request them to modify or update your address. Um, I think you can add, other than primary address, you have the ability to add a secondary or other address as well. So you can simply click on secondary, enter your secondary address here, any other contact information, and you will click on save address. So you will see there, like here, there's a primary address. You will see the secondary address saved on your profile as well. The next one is view only tab, that is certifications. So if you are certified and your certification is uploaded in the system, you can see that information here, that who is the certifying agency, what certificate type is added, what are the issue and expiration dates. If you want to modify that and you think that is not right, you can always reach out to SORTA and request that formally to them to update this information. And then industry. So under industry, you can add any NICS codes here. So once you start typing, let's say in this tab, you start typing 810. So you will see the relevant option here. But you can also scroll down and up to select the industry code in which you are certified or you work for this on the contracts. Once you select the industry code, you can then select the relevant service product. So for this one, I don't see, let me check. Yeah, so you can select like any service, detailed service product from the drop down. And then once you select the relevant, you can save industry. You can add multiple industries. All the industries that you save here will come up here in this grid, and you will be able to view them as well and manage them under this tab. Whenever you add some more new information on each tab, don't forget to click on save. The advanced tab, I don't think there is anything for you to do here. So that is how you will manage the information about your company in the system the under the manage vendor record. All right. So that was manage user profile and manage vendor records. Since I'm already logged in as a sample subcontractor in the system, now I will show you that how a subcontractor can add invoice for the prime contractor to see on the contracts where this vendor is working as a subcontractor. So for that, you will go to compliance. And here you will see that all of the contracts on which you are assigned as a subcontractor. So like this subcontractor is added in the system as a subcontractor on this project. So you will see your contract name, your contract number, your position on the contract. So if you're a prime, you will see prime here. If you're a sub, you will see sub here. Your role, if there is um, any invoice amounts, if you have added those, you will see that here. You will see any payments made to your company by the prime. You will see the sum of those here. And you also have access to what jurisdiction or SORTA has paid to the prime on this contract, right? So you can see that as well as a subcontractor. And then there is a percentage complete for this contract based on the spend or the payments. So you have access to this information in this grid. If you are working on multiple contracts, you will see all of those contracts in this grid and relevant information. Here, one feature you can always right click on this blue column header. So if you bring your mouse here in between the columns and then you right click, so you can click on columns. Here are the options that you can add in your grid. So you can add a specialist, or you can remove a column as well, right? So check or uncheck the columns that you need or you want to see. And that way you will be able to quickly view the information about the contract in the system. All right. So for this contract, let's say you want to add an invoice. So you will click on, we call it a small hamburger menu or an action menu, right? You see this is under action. So you will click on this menu and then you will go to invoices. So the first step for a subcontractor is to add an invoice. You will go to invoices and here on this screen, initially you will not see anything, but any invoices that you have previously added, those will be listed in this grid. Again, you have several different columns in this grid that you can always add or remove in the same way. So this is a standard system feature. Whenever you see a grid, you can add or remove columns like this. So let's say you're here for the first time, you want to add an invoice on this contract. You will click on this button in order to add the invoice, this plus sign. And as a result, you will see this new window. Is this visible to everyone?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. So the pair is obviously the prime for this invoice. Payee is you, the subcontractor. Now you can simply add, because this information is already entered in the system for this contract. So you just have to add the invoice amount. Let's say you want to add 5,000. An invoice number. So I'm going to simply add any invoice number like T001. All right. Invoice date. So let's say for this one, you can add 10, right? Due date. Um, let's say that was 10 August, right? All right. And then if you want to add any comments, you can add those here and then click on add invoice. So now this invoice is saved in the system. You will close the window and you can see now you have this invoice added in the system. Now, a very good feature is that you can always come to the invoice screen, this is screen, and click on this small arrow. When you do that, if there are payments made by the prime against this invoice, you will see those payments here. So that's how you can track your payments against the invoice. All right. So currently the prime has not paid against this invoice. That's why you're not seeing any payment, but we will look at that when we add a payment by the prime. All right. So back to compliance. Now you have added the invoice. After a subcontractor adds invoice, um, I want to pause here a little bit and I want to ask Tara. Tara, do you want to explain a little bit about the prompt payment policy, or you think the vendors already know about that?
Well, they should know just because it's already in the solicitation package, but just in case, the FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, dictates that subcontractors have to be paid within 30 days of us being SORTA pays the prime contractor. So we use that as general guidance, whether they're federally or not federally funded.
All right. All right. Thanks for that, Tara. So, like Tara mentioned, so let's say you have invoice added on this date. Now I will log in as a prime contractor and share with you how a prime contractor can add a payment against the invoice that subcontractor has added. So I will log off and now I will log in as a prime contractor. So now again, the prime contractor has the same view of the system. The prime contractor has same access to the administration, manage users, manage vendor record. And now in order to add payment, prime contractor will go to compliance section. And just like a subcontractor, prime can also see the contracts, all of the contracts, their contracts, and then their role. So here you can see that the role of this contractor is prime on this contract. Now, the prime can access, quickly view the invoices in this column. You can, as a prime, you can, again, you have this feature available to add or remove columns in your grid. And you can look at, for a particular contract, you can look at the invoices available. So if you click on See All, the system will bring you to this screen and you can see there is an invoice available, right? So the sub has added an invoice. There is a payer, payee, the invoice number that subcontractor added, the invoice amount, invoice date, due date, and since there is no payment made against this invoice, this is zero, and there is no acknowledgement against payment made, therefore that is zero as well. So Prime can also click on this arrow and look at any payments made against this invoice. So this is just the invoice view. Now, let me go back to compliance. So now as a Prime can also see that how much spend, how many payments are made to the subcontractor. Right now it's zero. And then how much is the amount paid by SORTA to the Prime, by the jurisdiction to the Prime. So on this particular contract, um, just to give you an idea, SORTA has paid $60,000 on this contract to this Prime, right? So Prime can always look at that. And then if I click on this amount, then this Prime contractor can look at the payments made by the jurisdiction to this Prime. So there are two payments. One is 50 for $50,000 and one is of $10,000. The payment date and any reference ID. So if you want to talk to SORTA or discuss anything, or you see that there is some wrong information, you can always refer to the reference ID of the payment in your communication. So now I shared with you how a Prime can access the invoices or Prime payments. The next option for the Prime is to how you can add payment, right? So you will go here again, action menu or a small hamburger menu, and you can go to payments to subs, all right? So when you click on payments to subs, now if you have any payments already made to subcontractor or added in the system, you will see those payments here. But since this Prime has not added any payment until now, this grid is blank. You will click on Add Payment. And on this window, the new window that will open up, you will have to report this every month. So if you have no reporting activity this month, you will simply select this checkbox. But you still have to report, log into the system and report no reporting activity. All right. And you will select the subcontractors. You can check all, or you can simply select the subcontractor there. And then you can click on date sent, maybe today's date, and click on save activity. Now let me uncheck that. So here, if there is a payment that you want to add, you will click on pair. Sorry, not click, but you will see your name in the pair. In subcontractor section, you will select the name of the organization, and then you will select the invoice number. So that's how the prime contractor will see the invoice. And you will select that, okay, this is the invoice against which I'm paying. Now you can see that the invoice amount is automatically populated here, but in the amount paid, you can modify the amount. So let's say you are not paying $5,000, you are paying $4,000 or $6,000. You can modify this amount here, amount paid, all right? And then the reference number should be a unique reference number for this payment, this particular payment. So you can modify that. Date sent. So let's say this is today's date, but let's say you sent this payment on 3rd of August. So you can enter the actual date sent, payment date, payment sent date here. So you will select that from the calendar. You can add any comments. So the comments are visible to the subcontractor. You can add comments. Now, this section is additional for the prompt payment policy compliance. Now, what you will do is you have to identify that out of which prime payment that was made to you by the jurisdiction, you are paying to the subcontractor. So let's say you will say, okay, the payment that I received from the jurisdiction on July 25, I'm applying this subpayment to this prime payment. So you will select that here. So if you select this, you are saying that out of this $50,000 that I received from jurisdiction, I'm paying $5,000 to the subcontractor. All right. And system will know that if the jurisdiction paid you on July 25 and you send the payment on August 3, that means the prompt payment policy is valid and you have paid the sub within 30 days. If this is a retainage payment, you can check this box. If this is a final payment, you can check this box. If you can keep them unchecked if this is not a retainage or final payment. So after completing all of this, you will click on add payment. So prime payment has been saved. Now let's close this. And if you see that in your grid now, the payment is populated. So this is the adding payments screen, remember that. On this screen, what you see here is ACK column. And what is the ACK column? This is acknowledgement. And this is a closed loop acknowledgement process. So when a prime pays a subcontractor, enters this payment in the system, now subcontractor can log in and acknowledge the payment. And based on the acknowledgement that whether the subcontractor accepts or dispute or decline the payment, you will see the relevant status here. So NR means no response. So until now, subcontractor has not acknowledged the payment or provided a response. All right. So let's go back to compliance. And I just want to show you one more. If you now go to invoices, you will see that under this invoice, if you click here, there is a payment added and the status is not responded. All right. Now I will go and log in again as a subcontractor. The next step for after the payment is added by the prime, the next step for the subcontractor is to acknowledge the payment. So let's log in as a subcontractor. So let's say you are a subcontractor, you edit the invoice, and now you see that Prime has sent a payment. You will receive an email for that as well. So you will log in, go to compliance, and you will see that, okay, my invoice for 5,000, I have received $5,000. And you will go here and click on payments to subs. This is where you will acknowledge the payment. Since this is a subcontractor, so you will see the option to acknowledge. This option is not available to the prime. So you have to acknowledge the payment as a subcontractor. You will see the payer, payee, amount paid, payment date, like if you remember, we selected August 3, invoice number, amount. So you will see this link, confirm link here. You will go here, click on this, and the system will then show you what information is added by the prime, right, on this payment. So name of the prime contractor, name of the subcontractor, sub invoice amount that you added on the invoice, sub invoice number, amount paid to the sub by the prime. So this shows you the amount that you have received, and payment date. So the prime mentioned that they paid you on August 3. And about the prompt payment policy, some information here. This tells you that when did the prime receive payment from the jurisdiction. So prime received the payment from the jurisdiction on July 25. This information is also useful for you in order to track the prompt payment policy compliance. So here in this section, you can either enter the amount received. Let's say you have received full $5,000 that Prime has mentioned. So you will enter 5,000 here. And let's say you have received the payment if on August 3 or August 4. So you will enter the date when you received the actual payment, right? So you can enter the payment received date using this calendar, and you can add your comments. So this is a regular where you receive the same amount that Prime mentioned, and the date is also good. So you will come here, click on acknowledge payment, all right, and you will click on accept, all right. Um, let's say you have not received $5,000. Instead, you have received $4,000 or any other amount. Maybe you received $6,000, right? Um, let's say you have received less than $5,000. So you will enter that amount here. So you have the option to enter the another amount. And let's say you have not received the payment around this date. Let's say you received it after 1 month. So you can change the date when you receive the actual payment. And since this is a different amount and a different date, um, you will again click on acknowledge payment, but this time you can dispute because the amount or the date is different, right? So this will tell the prime contractor that there is a dispute. This will also um, inform the jurisdiction that there is a dispute on the payment. Um, the other third option is decline, and decline is when you have not received any payment from the prime. All right. So what you can do is just enter zero here or don't enter anything and click on decline payment. So accordingly, everyone will see the status on the payment in the acknowledgement column. All right. So for the purpose of this training, I will enter $5,000, same amount, and I will select the same date. So any comments that you want to add, you can add those. In case of decline, you can provide some explanation here or dispute as well. Um, so I will, so for any of these three options, you will always click on acknowledge payment. I will accept. So payment receipt acknowledged. Now you can see that payment is saved, the acknowledgement is saved. If you go back to compliance and go to payments to subs again, now you can see under the acknowledgement column, you don't have the option to confirm, but it is already confirmed. All right. So all of the payments will be listed here, and whenever you will come back here, you will see that, okay, which ones are the ones where you have to provide acknowledgement. So wherever you see the confirm link, you will be able to go there and then acknowledge the payment. So you have to complete that process every time you receive a payment. Let me go back here. So when a prime will log in to the system, they will also see that acknowledgement column set to yes in their system. And same for the jurisdiction, they can also see that payment has been acknowledged. If you go to invoices, now since the payment is made and acknowledged, you can see here by clicking here that the status of the payment against this invoice, this is the invoice information, this is the payment information, and the status is accepted. All right. So that is how you can track your invoices and your payments. And this completes the whole prompt payment compliance process for the prime and subcontractors. Now, a little bit about the help. Let's say you need some help on instructions on how to access the system. One, I shared with you that you will go to sorta.prismcompliance.com and you have need help. This need help is basically knowledge base. So you can go over those articles. The other one is this need training. This just tells you that how to log into this, how to create your login, how to log into the system and manage users and vendor profile. And another option is, let me actually go here. So this help button. So after you log in, you have this orange help on the bottom right of your screen. All right. So you can always access the system level instructions on this help page and browse through different options and see how you can perform those actions. All right. So this is another help available to you. And during the process at any point, if you forget, if you lost your PIN, secure PIN, or you forgot your password or anything, or if your login is not working, um, even after clicking on need login help. So need login help is where you can change your password. So you will simply, if you forgot your password, you will simply enter your user ID, complete the security check, and click on reset password. This will send you an email on your registered email address that is associated with your user account. And you will receive a link in the email using which you can create a new password. If you forgot your username, you can access your username. So you will enter your secure PIN that you received initially, your email address that is associated with your user account, and complete the security check and click on send username. So this will send you the username on your email address, registered email address. Um, so there are several self-help options available, but even if you receive any error or still you think that you need help and you're not able to perform some action, you can always reach out to SORTA and they will be able to provide you support there. That completes our training for today. Are there any questions?
Sana, I just wanted to kind of go over how they get the pin to begin with,
Mhm.
because that's going to be a big part of when you actually register yourself. We have to send you the pin. We actually we'll put, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sana. We'll actually enter you into our system first, and then send you a pin, and then you register. I'm pretty sure that's
Yes,
how it
that's
goes.
right.
Okay. So you would need to contact us first, and then we'll send you a pin.
Yes. So initially, if the vendors are already, all the vendors that are already registered in the system, I believe SORTA will send out a letter with all those instructions to those vendors. But if you are not registered in the system, you will not receive that letter. So in that case, obviously you will have to contact them and request that to check if you're registered in the system. If you are, then they can send you the PIN and the instruction letter at that time if you have not received the letter.
Yeah, this hasn't been sent out to anyone yet. We were waiting for the training to
Yeah.
be done.
Mhm. So Tara, do you want to tell them that by what time they will receive the letter so that they don't start contacting the jurisdiction before that?
Yeah, so anybody that is a contractor or a subcontractor on our current contracts will get a pin. So we're gonna look at doing that this week, sending out the pins so you can register and see your contract, because you'll have already been entered on your contract, so you'll show up in there. For example, the bridges, Madison, Montgomery, and Collins Avenue bridges. Those are in our system, and the subcontractors have been entered in manually by us. So we can go ahead and send those pins out.
All right, great. So are there any questions from Tara or from me?
I do want to say that we're going to have this training available on our website. Sometime this week, we'll get it posted.
All right, great. So hearing none, Tara, I think that completes the training, and we look forward to working with all of you pretty soon.
Thank you, Sana.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.